Well, hello and welcome to this midday market mood check with me, Nandita, Khemka, and my colleague Yatin, Mota. Well, Yatin got a smart recovery in the markets this afternoon. At one point, it looked like the Nifty will, fall below that 17,000 mark even, but now we've managed to stage a very smart recovery and we are back above that 17,150 mark. In fact, you could say that we are inching towards the high point of the day, and there has been a rebound in the Nifty Bank index as well, even though the PSU Bank index was one of the losers since morning. Aside of that, even the Nifty IT basket was in the red when I last checked, but since then there has been a smart recovery, so we are witnessing a lot of these indices coming off their day's lows. So among the gainers we have the likes of IndusInd Bank, that was in fact the top loser on the Nifty yesterday. Now it's up over 1%. HDFC Bank is one counter that's in the green. Bharti Airtel, the likes of Tata Steel, BPCL, all of these were among the gainers on the index. On the losing side we have the tech basket, as I mentioned. Tech Mahindra, HCL Tech, all these counters were losing. Tech Mahindra, mind you, was the top Nifty gainer in a very weak market yesterday. So now it is coming under profit booking and it's down somewhere around 2% or so. Yatin, any other movers that you're spotting that has led to this rebound this afternoon?
So if you look at the Nifty right now, as Nandita was mentioning, some respite for the bulls. We have seen a 100-point recovery, more than 100-point recovery on the Nifty right now. So from the days low, we are bouncing back well. Obviously, Nifty Bank is one support zone wherein we are seeing some buying. Right now, the Nifty Bank is in the green. So clearly, the strength really coming from the banking sector. Advance decline ratio, however, is almost 1:2. So for one stock declining, we have one stock gaining, we have two stocks declining. But if you look at the banking stocks, there the action is really quite smart. From the days low, we are seeing some good buying coming in IndusInd Bank. Right now, we have HDFC Bank, Bank of Baroda, PNB. All of these stocks are moving well. Obviously, there are some banking losers like Bandhan Bank, Kotak Bank, SBI, which are still in the red. But yes, the heavyweights like HDFC Bank, IDFC First, Bank of Baroda, all of them are showing some recovery from the intraday lows. And obviously, if you look at the mid-cap end of the market, there Sona Comstar is a top gainer. Remember, yesterday there was a large block trade in the counter. And post that, we had the buyers list which came in the bulk deal section on the stock exchanges.
Long-term investors, FII interest, domestic institutions, all of them have.
We had HDFC Mutual Fund, we have GIC, which is a Government of Singapore sovereign fund, Fidelity and Societe Generale. All of these big heads buying the stock, and today the stock is up 7% in the weak market. Gland Pharma is making a comeback. Lemon Tree, Mahindra CI, remember there was a block deal there as well. That stock is up 3%. And BDL are among the gainers in early trade today.
Right, let me also talk about some stocks and news. As you mentioned, Bandhan Bank was losing somewhere around 4 to 5%. That's because, in fact, our colleague from CNBC, Yash, has broken the story that the bank is looking to enter into general insurance followed by life insurance. That's, of course, source-based, and because of, on the back of this news, the counter is seeing some weakness. Cipla had hit a 52-week low in today's session. In fact, there were reports that, IT department was investigating the drug maker on, for potential tax evasion. So that counter was in the red. I don't know if it's staged a rebound as well, but that is one stock that was not doing well. Yatin, I also want to mention that Dow Futures, when I last checked, was trading in the green. Of course, now that the bank failures have come to the fore, there are expectations that Fed will now actually look at, if not a 25 basis point rate hike, a pause. At least in the March policy, because the inflation fight for now could take a backseat in the wake of the series of bank failures that we've seen. First it was Silver Valley Bank, then Silver Gate, and then of course another one that was kind of
actually
shut down.
Two things which have happened, Nandita. First, the yield curve is down by nearly 1 percentage points. And it is one of the biggest drop that we have seen since the financial crisis of 2008-9, and also. If you look at the yield curve dropping by 100 basis points, it's happened, 40 years after, what we saw in the 1980s. So yes, there is a low probability, as Nandita was mentioning, that the interest rates might move up sharply from now, which was the expectation. Yes, the Fed is concerned about the inflation, but the kind of bank defaults and the bank liquidity issues which are there in the US probably will force the bank regulator to really slow down on rate hikes. Number one. Number two, I think gold as a asset class, that has moved up from $1,800 an ounce to $1,900. And probably that is the reason why you saw Titan gaining almost 2% in early trade. So yes, gold and I think interest rates are the two things which are also making headlines in today.
I also want to mention crude. Brent had slipped
Yeah.
below that $80 mark, so that is another comforting factor for India as well, right? So, and of course, don't forget the US CPI data is also expected later in the day, so that is also something that we'll be watching out for. But for now, we will be waiting and watching for the second half.
Absolutely.
We'll have to see whether this recovery has legs or not, because yesterday, if you see the India VIX index was up 20%,
Yeah.
even though today it was somewhere, it was quite flat. But we'll have to see if the rebound that we've seen from day's low has the potential to sustain or not in the second half of the session. I think that's about it. So that does it. This is it for the midday market mood check. But of course, we will be getting you more updates on the markets throughout the day. So stay tuned to Money Control for all the latest updates on the markets and your other general news.